Welcome to the February 4th, 2025 DVMUG Zoom meeting. I'm Lee Wagner. I'll be your host through this meeting. We will follow the typical sequence of news followed by videos. Got a little miscellany. We'll go on to question and answers and social hour. This week's news. This summary of the news is presently on the BBS as a PDF, and you can click on the URLs to be able to get more detail on them if you like. The following are synopsis on these news items. Despite the iPhone decline, Apple's Q1 2025 sets revenue records. Apple again set revenue records in its first quarter fiscal results, with services posting the largest increases once more, and Mac and iPad sales rebounded, while revenues for both wearables and iPhone declined, although very slightly compared to last year's quarterly results. Those of you on the BBS have probably already seen this since John has presented it there. However, I continue in this particular topic, and here it is. Facilitating those growing revenue records. According to Malcolm Owen of Apple Insider, services, the very reliable sector for the company, continued its positive growth streak. The $26.34 billion in Q1 2025 is up from the $23.12 billion recorded in Q1 2024. And from 9 to 5 Mac, we read, according to a tweet from Bloomberg's Mark Gurman, Apple will stop offering the option to purchase a 2 to 3 year plan of AppleCare Plus in physical Apple stores and on the devices. This change will be taking place next week. The appearance of this is that by combining these inputs suggests that the appearance of this by combining these inputs suggests that Apple is aiming to increase the effectiveness of the already profitable services sector revenue by eliminating the ability to avoid annual fee increases for over several years. Any comments or questions? Next item, Apple reportedly ends its Mac-connected augmented reality glasses project. Speculation on spectacles to spectacularly replace Vision Pro turns out to be spectacularly incorrect. The glasses were seen within Apple as a natural evolution beyond Vision Pro. The AR glasses would resemble normal glasses and let users look through the lenses in the real world, but contain integrated displays that superimpose rendered graphics upon them. The glasses, for which the iPhone had inadequate processing capability, therefore required wide access to Mac, were not received well in internal reviews, and now it's not clear what comes after Vision Pro. If a Vision Pro is cumbersome with a wire going to a battery pack in your pocket, how could you ever expect users to remain tethered to a MacBook? A successor to Vision Pro needs to provide more portability, not less. Any comments or questions?
So that's not saying that the Vision Pro is going away, is it?
No.
This was like a refinement of sort of a half-measure version of it or something?
Correct. And this
Vision Pro meets Google Glass or something like that?
Well, the first iteration of an attempt to replace it didn't work out well. I imagine they're thinking about others. The next news item is why Apple Vision Pro's $3,500 price is actually a selling point, according to Zach Hall, 9 to 5 Mac. We know Apple Watch saves lives, but did you know that Apple Vision Pro is helping surgeons to save lives? Harry McCracken reports for the Fast Company that Apple Vision Pro is gaining traction in healthcare, particularly in surgery and medical training. Sharp Healthcare has launched a spatial computing center of excellence and is hosting a summit with 300 attendees exploring Vision Pro's potential in surgery, medical education, and beyond. Tommy Korn, an ophthalmologist with Sharp Healthcare, tells Fast Company that the other monitors used for the operating room run at $20,000 each. So you see both a more effective device and cheaper, which was to be proven. Comments, questions? All right, moving on to the videos. These videos are on the BBS and the URLs are clickable. First video is by Gary Rosensweig of MacMost, moving pages or text around in Mac Pages.
Hi, this is Gary with MacMost.com. Let me show you how you can move pages around in Mac Pages. So a question I often get concerning pages is somebody asking how can they move the pages in their document around. This can be confusing because there are many different ways to use pages. Somebody may use it to write one long piece of text, like a novel. Another person may use it to create newsletters, and another person may use it to create reports. It's important to realize there are two modes in Pages. Pages is kind of like two apps in one. The first mode is word processing mode, and the second mode is page layout mode. And depending upon which one you're using, Pages behaves very differently. So for instance, here I am in Pages, and I'm going to create a new document. Notice that I've got lots of templates to choose from. The main one that you probably use most of the time is blank. And blank will create a new word processing document. But another one is blank layout. And this one actually creates a page layout document. When you create a word processing document, the main difference is something called the body text. We could see it here if I turn on View and then Show Layout. You're going to see this big text box that's in the middle of this page. And I can just type directly into it. And I can keep typing into it. What will happen is when I fill up page 1, it'll automatically create page 2. So for instance, I'm here at the bottom of page 1, and I press return to go to the next line. And you can see there's no room for it here on page 1. So when I do it, it creates a second page, and it keeps going. The body text goes from page 1 to page 2 to page 3, all the way through your document. It's how you would use a word processor if you were typing up a long report, an essay, a novel, any general word processing task. So for instance, here's an entire book inside of Pages. And if I scroll down, you can see it goes from page 1 to page 2 to page 3, and it keeps going through the entire document. This is one big block of text. If I turn on Show Layout, you can see the body text here in the middle, and it basically links the body text from page 1 to page 2, and then to page 3, and so on. It's one long block of text going from page to page, and it will keep expanding as you add more text. So if we go over here to View and turn on Page Thumbnails, we'll see all the pages here. Here's page 1, 2, 3, and we can scroll all the way through and see there are 103 pages here. We can jump to any page we want by clicking on a thumbnail here. So here's page 51. But page 51 is just the continuation of the text from page 50, and then it continues on to page 52. So if you wanted to rearrange pages, it wouldn't make any sense to actually drag the thumbnails here. If you wanted to put page 52 before page 51, you can't drag it and put it before. It just won't work. The idea is you don't use the page thumbnails on the left to drag pages around. Instead, you deal directly with the text. So let's say if I wanted to take some text, like maybe a few paragraphs here on this page, and I wanted to move it earlier, I could select it all and then click and drag it and move it up and down in the text. More likely, I'm going to want to select it and then use Command X or Cut, remove it from there, move it to where I want it to be, and then Command V to paste it there. And you could do this with whole pages of text. So for instance, if I went down here to page 13, you could see this starts chapter 2. let's say I wanted to rearrange this so chapter 2 came after chapter 3. I could start the selection here, and then I could go to the end of chapter 2, which is right here. I could select it all like that. I shift-click to select the whole range, and then I could cut all of chapter 2, and now I could go somewhere else, and then I could paste that in. By the way, if you find this video is valuable, consider joining the more than 2,000 others that support MacMost at Patreon. You get exclusive content, course discounts, and more. You can read about it at macmost.com/Patreon. A better example may be this document. In this document, if I look at the page thumbnails, you can see that each page just has one paragraph of text and a heading on it. So this could be some sort of report that is in this kind of format. And let's say you wanted to switch the second and third pages. So what you would do here is select all of, say, the third page, and then cut, then go before the second page and paste. And now I've successfully done that. Notice here that the reason that these paragraphs are on individual pages is because I put a page break after each one of these. If I go to View and then Show Invisibles, I could see the page break right here. So it's not a standard return, which would just look like this. It is this blue line with this little page icon here, showing that I inserted a page break. You can do that by using Command and Return, or simply Insert Page Break. And this forces the next line to start on a new page. And you can see each page is like this. So you would think, since there are page breaks and each is on an individual page, that you should be able to actually drag these pages around to reorder them. And in fact, you can make pages work like that, but you need to use sections, not pages. So right here, instead of this page break, I'm going to insert a section break. And when I do that, I still got that page break here. So I'm going to delete that page break. I don't need it anymore. So now I've got a section break. You can see the icon is different here. It looks like a little book. And then I'm going to do the same thing for each one of these pages. I'm going to insert a section break, which I should have done in the first place, and delete the page break, turning each one of these into a section rather than a page. So now that I've done that, my document essentially looks about the same. I just have section breaks instead of page breaks. But section breaks still work to go to the next page. So from a visual standpoint, they look the same. The difference is, now that each of these pages is its own section, I can actually drag these thumbnails. I can drag this second page, which is the second section, and move it after the third section, like that. I can drag these sections around any way I want. So the key in this situation is to use sections, not pages. And the same thing here in this document. I've got multiple chapters, but what I've done is at the end of each chapter, I put a page break and then a new heading there on the new page. Instead, what I should have done if I want to rearrange things easily is to have a section break at the end of each chapter and then delete the page break and do that for each chapter. So now that I've done that, I can drag and drop sections here. Each section is multiple pages. When I grab it and start dragging, notice the sections collapse. All the pages are grouped together. So the first section here is 12 pages, then 9, then 12, and so on. And I can drag and reorder the sections. So you can reorder sections even if they're multiple pages. Now, what about page layout? If you do create a page layout document, like the blank template here, then every time you add a new page, then each page is its separate thing. If you go and view the layout, you'll notice there's no body text. Nothing shows here. If you want to actually put text on this, you need to click the text box button there and then add text to that text box. So here's a text box that's on this page here. But no matter how much I type in this, it's not going to continue on to another page. If I wanted to, I would have to actually link the text boxes. That's a whole other thing. But if I do want to add a second page, I would use this Add Page button that only appears when you're working with a page layout document. Click, and now you've got a second page, and you can do a third page, fourth page, as much as you want, and put different elements on each page. You can put images, you can put text, whatever you want on each page. This is how things like newsletters are created in Pages. You can see here the newsletter template is actually 2 pages here, each with different text boxes and elements in it, and they're separate from each other. If you create a new page, it just adds a blank page here at the end, and all of these are independent. When you do use page layout, since each page is independent, it acts as its own section. Notice there is no way to insert a section here in page layout mode, because a page and a section are the same thing. I can select any page I want and drag it into any position in the document. It's 1 page per section and completely movable. So what if you started in word processing mode, like this document here? You decide, well, I really should be in page layout mode for this. What can you do? You can go to File and then convert to page layout, but you're going to see this warning here, because what converting to page layout means is that the body text is removed. It can no longer link from page to page, so the body text is just gone. Since this is all in body text, it means your document would lose all the things that you've added to it. So your best bet here is to actually start a new document, make it page layout, and then copy and paste text from the body text in the word processing document into text boxes in the page layout document, and then remember to use the appropriate document the next time that you want to make a similar thing. So I hope this helps you if you need to create a Pages document where the contents need to be moved around and rearranged inside it. Thanks for watching.
Any comments or questions on that?
I've never used that application at all. It looks pretty good.
Just wonder how many people are actually going to be doing that. You know, it's a good word processor and a page layout, but it's pretty advanced.
I've used it for years.
Well, I use it too, but do you use that feature?
Yes,
Do you? Okay.
drives you crazy trying to figure out how to move the pages around. So that was good. Thank you.
Yeah, I still have a document that's has a second page, but it's a blank page, and I could not figure out how to get rid of that blank page. It was in word processing, I imagine. But it doesn't, you can't get rid of it the way you do in other apps, where you just put the cursor on the second page and delete, and it's gone. Any suggestions?
Use page break or look for invisibles.
Yeah, I was going to say you probably got a page break on there on the second page.
The invisibles, get rid of those, and that sometimes one little comma can screw up everything.
There you go.
What if you clicked it in the sidebar, the thumbnail, and
That didn't work.
okay. What if you put the cursor at the end of your text on the page before and did a forward delete? Would that work?
Oh, didn't think of that. We'll try that.
Maybe the page break is on the previous page.
Should show invisibles. Where do you
Got a
show
mind of its
invisibles?
own.
Where is show invisibles? Is that in view or something?
Show invisibles is a pull down menu option. And that can take over a whole page.
I think it's in view.
Yeah.
Okay.
Or just go through each
Yes,
one of the pull down
it's
menus.
under view and you can reach it by Shift Command I. It's about halfway down the drop down on the pages under view.
Thank you.
All right, we'll move on. Second video is by Ellen for Ellen Tips for iOS. Hate the new Photos app in iOS 18.
I've heard from so many people that they can't stand the layout of the photos
Oops.
by the confusing new design. In this video, I'll show you how to hide sections for a less confusing experience. If we haven't met, I'm Ellen from Ellen's Tips for iOS, where I help seniors master their iPhones and iPads. If you find the video helpful, give it a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. Let's get started. Apple radically changed the Photos app in iOS 18. It no longer has tabs along the bottom. Everything is now on a single screen. You can scroll up and down to see sections like recent days, people and pets, memories, and albums. You can also swipe left or right under a section to see more of that section. The panes of different sizes can make it confusing. To make the app work better for your specific needs, you can hide sections that don't really matter to you. I almost never use trips, memories, shared album, and wallpaper suggestions. In iOS 18, I can hide them from appearing in my Photos app to make it less cluttered. Now I don't have to swipe as much and can quickly get to the sections that are more important to me. So if you don't fancy the new Photos app design, you can use these tips to customize it and turn it into something that works for you. To hide sections in the Photos app, you'll want to locate the Photos app on your iPhone or on your iPad running iOS 18 or newer. Tap to open the Photos app. Now you'll want to scroll to the very bottom of the screen where you see Customize and Reorder. Go ahead and tap on that. And now you'll see you have a bunch of categories that are checked off. Here you can uncheck any category you don't want to see. So if I don't want to see memories, or let's just say I don't want to see pinned collections or utilities, you can uncheck as many as you want. And then when you're finished, you want to tap the X in the upper right corner, and that saves your changes and returns you to the Photos app. If you change your mind, you'll need to go back in and repeat the process. So if I want to change anything, I can come back into the Customize and Reorder section, and I can remove or add any of the check marks back as I need to. So that's how to customize and reorder your sections. I'll tap the X to save it, and those things have been removed, but I still have all of the other sections that I want to see. My favorite new feature in the Photos app is the ability to reset the app if you made too many changes and want to start over. So to do that, again, you'll be inside of the Photos app, come down to the very bottom, scroll to the bottom, tap on Customize and Reorder, and in the upper left corner, you'll see a Reset button. I'll tap on Reset. You'll see that all of the check marks come back, and they'll be placed in the order, the sections that Apple has already suggested. And once I'm finished, I'll tap on the X, and now all of my sections are back to their default position. This will not delete your actual photos or videos. If you want to reorder the sections in the Photos app, maybe there's a category that you use less, but still want it to be available, you can move it to the bottom of the Photos app so it's out of eyesight, but still accessible with a swipe. So we're still inside the Photos app. I'm going to tap on Customize and Reorder, and you'll see these handlebars along the side screen. If I take and grab a handlebar and just push and hold on it, I can drag it down to the bottom and drop it in, so I can move any of these sections that I don't want to see down to the bottom, go ahead and tap on the X in the upper right corner to save it. And now you'll see that Media Types Recent Days was moved to the bottom section of the Photos app, so it's not in my immediate view when I open the Photos app. If you're on an iPad, you can also place sections side by side. So I have it open, the Photos app on my iPad, and if I tap Customize and Reorder at the bottom, you're going to see that the layout is a little bit different. And so you can grab the handlebars and drag them where you want them to be. And so you can kind of move these around to the sections, where you want to place them so they can be side by side, and you can arrange them in any order that you want. You can also pin important categories in the Photos app. I take a lot of screenshots that I use for my tutorials, and the screenshot category is listed under Media Types. So let me locate Media Types first. Here's Media Types. If I come into that section, you'll see that screenshots is a part of that section, but I want to pin that section so that I see it at the top. And so to do that, you'll see here pinned collections. I'm going to tap on modify. You'll see screenshots listed among many other things. I'm going to go ahead and tap on the plus sign next to screenshots. And now I'll drag screenshots to the top. I'll tap on the X to save that. And now when I come to that pinned collection, you'll see that screenshots is the very first category in the pinned collection. So let's come back into this modify area in the pinned collections, because there are a lot of categories that you can pin, and then you can move them around in the pinned collections. You can even tap on this plus button at the bottom, pick an album that you want, and so I'm just going to choose Kittens. You'll see that it's been added to the pinned collection, and now I can move it to any area of the pinned collection I want to, so that I'm seeing the photos that are important to me. I hope you found this video helpful and you feel more confident navigating the new Photos app in iOS 18. Remember, customizing the app can make a huge difference in simplifying your experience, especially if the new design feels overwhelming. If you found this video helpful, please share it with a friend who might also be struggling with the changes. And don't forget to subscribe to my channel for more tips and tutorials to make your Apple devices easier to use. Thanks so much for watching. I'll see you next time.
I think the Photos app and the Camera app in iOS 18 are causing more consternation than any of the rest, and yet when looked into, they seem to work pretty good. Any other comments or questions?
Still awkward.
Okay, we'll move on. Third video is by Trevor Nace. iOS 18.2, 7 settings you need to turn off right now, in his opinion.
If you've upgraded to iOS 18.2, here are 7 settings that you need to turn off right now. These are things that you should immediately do and turn off to help protect your privacy and help make your phone run as smoothly as possible. I'm going to walk you through all those, but first, hit the subscribe button down below. Really helps me out. Thanks, guys. Now, the very first thing we'll do is we'll head into these settings here. And first, let's start with your privacy. So let's scroll down here. And after you've upgraded and gotten Apple Intelligence, we need to make sure that Apple Intelligence data isn't being sent without your permission. So let's tap on privacy and security here. And now let's scroll down to the very bottom and you'll see a new feature, Apple Intelligence Report. So tap on that and you'll be able to see here, it says this report may include personal data such as your messages, text, and other Apple Intelligence writing tools, which I don't necessarily want to send to Apple, and I would prefer to keep this private. So I'm going to tap where it says report duration and switch it to off. And I'm going to hit OK. Essentially, this will turn off the data gathering for Apple Intelligence and help prevent my privacy on my phone from leaking out to Apple or anything like that. Now, the second thing we will turn off is we'll go all the way back to the beginning and tap on your name at the very top. On here, you can see midway down is subscriptions. So whenever I upgrade my iPhone, I do a regular check on my active subscriptions. So let's tap on any of your subscriptions here. You can see I only have an Apple One subscription, but I have a bunch of expired ones. If you see a subscription on here that you don't necessarily remember signing up for, or that you don't know that you're being billed every single month for, or every single year for that subscription, I would recommend just canceling it so that you don't basically waste your money on things that you're not necessarily using. Now let's walk through the next step. Let's go back to the beginning here, and we're going to scroll down and we're going to choose General here. And then we're going to scroll down again and we're going to choose background app refresh. This is a common culprit on why your battery life might be draining after you've upgraded to the latest iOS operating system. Sometimes for whatever reason, this is switched on, even though you might have switched it off in the past, or basically it's switched to Wi-Fi or cell data. I would recommend just completely switching this off. This doesn't really add that much value. Basically, if you have phone apps that you've opened, basically it allows them to run in the background, updating Instagram and basically using up your data as well as using up your battery life. So I would just recommend turning this feature off. I don't really see many use cases on why this is a really good feature because, again, it drains your battery and it drains your data by running apps in the background when you're not even looking at them. So after we've done that, let's go through some other things as well. Let's go back to the very beginning here. We'll scroll down and tap on apps at the very bottom. Now that we're in here, let's scroll down again. And what we're going to be looking for is the messages option. So tap on messages here. And now let's scroll down to the very bottom. Now, there are a couple different things that we'll do here. One is RCS messaging. Make sure this is turned on. It says send and receive messages with RCS. Essentially, this allows you to have rich interactions with other users. If they have an Android device and you're texting them on your iPhone, you can do things like the heart emojis or reactions, or group text will work a lot better if there are some iPhones and some Androids. So just turn this on. This is a big win that Apple finally added this into the iOS operating system. Texting Android users is a lot more seamless and easy. Now let's also scroll down here and you can see at the very bottom, you can see low image mode. So if this is turned on, it says images will be sent in lower quality. This is often on by default for whatever reason, but in this day and age, 2024, almost 2025, why do we want low image quality? I would just recommend completely turning this off. You want a highest quality resolution of images if they're sending you images through text. Now that we've done that, let's go back here and we're going to go through another option as well. So from messages here, we're also going to scroll down until we get to the S section and tap on Safari here. So once we're in Safari, you can see the default browser is Safari. You can tap on that and you can now change it to Google Chrome if you wanted it to be Chrome instead. Or in my case, I just use Safari, so I'll leave that there. Let's go back here and we'll check and turn basically on privacy restriction measures. So you can see prevent cross-site tracking. Essentially, this is preventing one website from being able to download a tracker onto your phone and then track your movement or other websites that you visited on other websites. So I'd recommend turning this on. Hide IP address from trackers is really great. And then fraudulent website warning, not secure, connection warning, turn those on. Now let's go to the very bottom because there's some hidden options at the very bottom in advance. So in here, you'll be able to see it for a couple things. One is privacy preserving ad measurement. Now you might think that's good. I do want privacy preserving. However, it's worded a bit in basically confusing or misleading because this is ad measurement with privacy preserving. So if you want your phone to be measuring your basically activity, the websites you visit, all that stuff for advertising, you can keep it on, but I usually toggle that off. Essentially, I don't want my iPhone to be measuring my activity for ads, even if it's privacy preserving. Now, the next thing we'll do is tap on advanced tracking and browsing. I'm going to turn this for all browsing to have that protection. Now, once you go through all of these steps, the last thing I would recommend doing is let's just go all the way back out of here. And on here, we'll tap on general and then scroll to the very bottom and just hit shutdown. You'd be surprised how many times updating to the latest iOS operating system, for instance 18.2, or if you're on 18.3 or whatever, essentially that will cause your phone to have bugs, slow down. It's going to be working a lot in the background, trying to process a lot of things associated with that new operating system. You'd be surprised how many times just shutting your phone off and then restarting it a few minutes later will fix a lot of performance issues, a lot of battery life issues. All of that stuff is just good to do. And your phone might not have been restarted for days or weeks or even months. So just shut it down and then turn it back on and you should be good to go. I hope this helps. If it did, hit the like button down below and leave a comment if you have any questions. Thanks.
Any comments or questions?
That was good.
Yeah, I lost him on a couple. So how do you go? Will this be recorded audio and video so I can go back and pick him up?
Yes.
The links are in the list posted in the chat and also on the BBS, where you can play the link. You can play this in the meeting recording, but it's better you can just click that link and go to the original and play it.
Yeah. What was the link called?
You don't have to find it in the meeting.
What's the link called?
There is a posting on the BBS titled news videos and miscellany for the 2/4/2025 DVMUG meeting, and they're attached to that. Just click the attachment off and it's there.
But what is
to directly answer your question, Ray? Yes, it's being recorded and it'll be on YouTube.
But that particular recording is called iOS 18.2 7 settings you need to turn off right now, and I'll put the YouTube link for it in the chat.
Thank you.
Which I just got from the video list. That's in the chat, but I'll post that directly in the chat.
Okay, thank you.
Because I want to watch that one again myself.
Yeah, you have to pause it, and you went so fast. Old guys can't keep up.
Right.
Well, typically that's the case, but on the other hand, you got the nod to it and you can look it up. Moving on. Ellen's tips for seniors, Apple Watch tips for seniors. Simple changes, big benefits.
The Apple Watch packs many features and settings even experienced users may not know. The watchOS 11 update released in September for Apple Watch Series 6 and newer added a handful of personalization options. Let's take a look at the Apple Watch settings you might want to change to get the most out of your Apple Watch. Welcome to Ellen's Tips for iOS, where I help seniors master their iPhones and iPads. If you find the video helpful, give it a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. Let's get started. The first thing we're going to do is learn how to customize your activity goals. Apple added the option to customize your stand and exercise goals in 2020. So instead of using the 12 standing hours a day You can change either of these goals to fit your routine. So the first thing we're going to do is open the fitness app on your Apple Watch, which is right here, and I'll tap on it. And so when you come in, maybe you'll see all of your rings. But if not, if you're on one of the metrics, you'll see that. To change an activity goal, you just push on the plus or minus sign, and a couple of options appear. You can change that activity goal just for today if you want to. So if I tap on that and I hit the plus sign, it'll go up by 10 calories, and you can adjust it up and down as you see fit. And when you're ready, tap on set. And as you can see, you can do this with each of the metrics. So once we adjust the goals to what we want them to, then it's time to start closing those rings. You also have the option to pause your rings, making it possible to take a break from your goals. Maybe you need a sick day and know you won't meet the goals that you've set, and so you can change that. So let me come out of that notification, and I'm going to go back in to the fitness settings. And here, if I just come back up to where the 3 rings are, if I just tap on the 3 rings, you'll see that an option appears that says change goals. And if you go in this way to change the goals, you'd be changing them permanently instead of for the day. Or if I want to, I can pause my rings. So once I touch pause, it'll say here, pause your rings, mute coaching and goal tracking while maintaining your move streak. So you can pause it for today, until Monday, until February, or you can set a custom pause. So if you're not feeling well and need to take a break from closing your rings, go ahead and pause your fitness goals. Another feature you might want to try is low power mode. This preserves battery life by turning off the always-on display, certain sensors, and disabling features such as irregular heart rhythm notifications. I usually turn this on when my watch battery drops to 40%. To turn it on, you'll want to push the digital crown to come into all of your apps, locate the settings app, which is, whoops, I hit the wrong one, which is this cogwheel right there. Tap on that to open it. Make sure that you're on the main settings page. Scroll down until you see battery. Tap battery. You'll see 40% there because I've been burning my battery today on my watch. Then go ahead and just toggle the low power mode on and then turn on. And now you'll be able to save battery life on your Apple Watch. You can also do this by pushing the side button on your watch so that you come into the control center, tap where the battery percentage is located, tap on that, tap on low power mode, tap on turn on, and now you should be able to save battery life using the control center option. If you find yourself filling up your Photos app with screenshots of your Apple Watch, you may be accidentally and side button at the same time. So to disable this feature, you'll open the Settings app on your watch. So let's go ahead and open the Settings app. Then you're going to tap on General. So let's locate General. Now we'll scroll down until we see Screenshots. Tap on that and then toggle that switch off that enables screenshots. Now those random watch face photos will no longer appear. If you want to add your favorite photos to your watch face, you can choose photos from your phone to set as the background for your watch face. To get started, we're going to open the Watch app on the iPhone. So I'm going to come into the app library. I'm going to tap where it says App Library. I'm going to type in Watch. The Watch app appears. I'm going to go ahead and get to that, I'm going to tap Face Gallery down at the bottom. And now I'm going to scroll towards the bottom of the screen until I find Photos. There it is. I'm going to go ahead and tap on Photos. And here you have the option to choose Shuffle, or you can choose the photos. I'm going to tap Shuffle, and then I'm just going to let this be the options that I picked, my favorite photos, and I'm going to hit Continue. And then when I'm ready, I can tap Add, and then those photos will be added to the watch face. If you find that your watch face is going dark more quickly than you would like it to, the default wake setting on the Apple Watch is 15 seconds, and maybe you want to read a longer text message or keep an eye on a timer, but the screen keeps going dark. You can extend the time to 70 seconds by opening the Watch app on your iPhone, which I'm already in, and then make sure that you tap on My Watch in the lower left corner. Then locate Display and Brightness, and then go ahead and tap on Wake Duration. And here you'll just choose 70 seconds, and now your watch face will remain on a little bit longer, so you have time to read longer messages. Every time you install an app on your iPhone, it will automatically install the Apple Watch counterpart if there is one. This can really clutter up the watch face, making it hard to find the apps you want. To change this, we're going to open the settings on the Apple Watch, or you can do it on your iPhone by opening up the Watch app, but it works the same way. So either using the watch itself or the Watch app, open Settings, go ahead and locate the App Store, tap on the App Store, and then go ahead and toggle off automatic downloads. Now, if you want to install an individual app on your watch, you'll go ahead and you'll we'll come in here to the Watch app on the iPhone, and then scroll down and you'll see Installed on the Apple Watch. Scroll a little further and you'll find the apps that haven't been installed yet. You can go ahead and tap on Install next to the app that you want to place on your Apple Watch. The Apple Watch can be useful for discreetly checking an alert or the time. Loud notifications can defeat the purpose. I use my Apple Watch in silent mode so that I only feel a tap on my wrist when I receive a notification. To do this the easy way, you'll press on the side button of your Apple Watch, and that will launch the control center. And you just want to tap on this notification that shows the bell. So I'm going to undo it. Tap the notification or the icon that looks like a bell. And now when receiving a notification, you'll only feel a tap on your wrist instead of an audible alert and a tap on the wrist. Reading notifications and news headlines can be tough on such a small screen. Luckily, the font size can be increased. To do this, launch the Settings app on your Apple Watch. So I'm going to push the digital crown to come into Settings or Apps, and I'm going to locate the Settings app. I'll tap on that. Now I'm going to scroll down until I see Display and Brightness. Tap on that. Then go ahead and tap on Text Size. Here you can either use the digital crown to increase the size of the text, or you can use the double A and the small double A to increase or decrease the size of the text. Do you have a hard time finding apps in grid view? So if I push the digital crayon, I come into grid view and it looks great, but it can be really difficult to find an app you want to launch. If you have lots of apps on your watch, it's much easier to locate them in list view where they're in alphabetical order. So to put them in list view, once you come into grid view, just scroll to the very bottom and you'll see the list there, tap on it, and now you'll be able to locate your apps in alphabetical order. Anytime you want to go back to grid view, scroll all the way down to the very bottom. You'll see grid view there, tap on it, and you can put your apps right back into grid view. The Apple Watch is packed with features that can make life easier and more enjoyable, especially for seniors. By customizing your settings, you can tailor the watch to fit your lifestyle, enhance accessibility, and save time. Whether it's increasing the font size for better readability, silencing noisy notifications, or extending battery life with low power mode, these tips can help you get the most out of your device. Take a few minutes to explore these settings for companion in your daily life. Thanks so much for watching. I'll see you next time.
Any comments or questions?
Wow, yes.
That was very useful.
The killer tip in there to me was turn off automatic app install, because I have this long list of watch apps that, for instance, Walgreens. I'm not even a Walgreens customer, but I do have the Walgreens app on my phone, and I don't want the Walgreens app in my watch. And I didn't know how all these apps were even getting in there, so now I know. She said something, I think she misspoke early on, where she said, look at the fitness app. She was talking about the fitness app when she was talking about adjusting the rings. There is a fitness app on the iPhone, but in the watch and in the watch app, it's called activity, not fitness.
Thank you.
So the fitness iOS app and the activity watch app do interact. They show basically a lot of the same information, but they're just named differently.
All right, we move on. How Apple support how to navigate your iPhone or iPad with VoiceOver. Now, this is an item that probably has fairly narrow. If you know someone who might need it, it's pretty interesting to know about. So we'll give it a try.
VoiceOver reads everything on your screen aloud, so you can use your iPhone or iPad without seeing the screen.
Settings. VoiceOver. Switch button. On.
If you are blind or have low vision, this feature helps you navigate your device. Here's how to get started. We'll show you how to turn VoiceOver on or off. Then we'll show you how to use VoiceOver with specific gestures to navigate your iPhone or iPad. First, let's turn VoiceOver on, which is also how you turn it off. We're going to turn VoiceOver on in Settings, but you can also ask Siri to turn it on or off instantly, or add it as an accessibility shortcut. In Settings, scroll down, tap Accessibility, and then tap VoiceOver. Here, you can adjust the speed of the speaking rate for VoiceOver, review the commands and keyboard shortcuts, and select a custom voice, like the one we're using. Plus, you'll find customizations for the rotor and gesture commands, and you can access additional tools for Braille devices and specific navigation controls. When you're ready,
Tap to turn on VoiceOver, and it will begin reading what's on your screen.
Settings. VoiceOver. Switch button. On.
While using VoiceOver, you'll navigate your iPhone or iPad with unique gestures. For example, to scroll in any app, swipe up, down, left, or right with 3 fingers.
Rows 6 to 18 of 18.
To go to the home screen, drag up from the bottom of the screen until 2 rising tones play.
FaceTime. Double tap to open.
On an iPhone with Face ID, you'll also feel a haptic response. On an iPhone or iPad with a home button, you can press the home button. If you're familiar with the screen, you can touch an item directly to have VoiceOver read it.
Calendar. Monday, March 11th.
This works with almost any word, feature, app name, or section of text. You don't have to tap directly on something to locate it. Instead, quickly swipe right or left with 1 finger anywhere on the screen, and VoiceOver will read out the items in the order they appear, so nothing is missed.
Weather. Cupertino. Mail. No unread emails. Notes.
You can also drag your finger over the screen, and VoiceOver will read the name of each item you touch.
Camera. Clock. Podcasts. Health. Search. Dock. Messages. Double tap to open.
Double tap anywhere on the screen to open or activate a selected app, link, or button.
Messages. Heading. Search. Search field. Dictate. Button. Conversations. Hannah Lee.
To have VoiceOver pause reading a section of text, tap once with 2 fingers.
That's what I was thinking. I remember her saying that her favorite type of cake growing up was.
Tap once with 2 fingers again to have VoiceOver continue reading.
Pineapple upside down cake. The recipe sounds really simple, and I actually already have.
When your iPhone or iPad is locked, drag up from the bottom edge of the screen until 2 rising tones play. On an iPhone with Face ID, you'll also feel a haptic response. To unlock an iPhone or iPad with a home button, you can press the home button.
FaceTime. Double tap to open.
To open Control Center, tap the status bar at the top edge of the screen
9:41 a.m.
and slide up with 3 fingers anywhere on the screen.
Control Center. Airplane mode. Switch button. Off.
On an iPhone with Face ID, you can also just drag down from the top of your screen until you feel a single haptic response and 2 rising tones play. If you want to return to a previous screen, do a 2-finger scrub, moving your fingers back and forth 3 times quickly, making the letter Z.
FaceTime. Double tap to open.
To open Notification Center, tap the status bar at the top edge of the screen again
9:41 a.m.
and slide down with 3 fingers anywhere on the screen.
Notification Center.
On an iPhone with Face ID, you can also just drag down from the top of your screen until you feel 2 haptic responses and 3 rising tones play. Let's go back to our previous screen and then check out our open apps using the App Switcher. You can open the App Switcher by dragging up from the bottom of the screen until 3 rising tones play. On an iPhone with Face ID, you'll also feel 2 haptic responses.
Settings. Active.
To open the App Switcher on an iPhone or iPad that has a home button, just double-click the home button. If you have multiple apps open, swipe left or right with 1 finger to browse through them.
Messages. Active. Photos. Active.
Now you know the gestures you need to start navigating your iPhone or iPad with VoiceOver.
VoiceOver reads your screen.
To find out more about the accessibility features on your Apple devices, subscribe to the Apple Support YouTube channel or check out our accessibility playlist to keep learning.
Any comments or questions?
It's unbelievable.
Yeah, there's a lot there. It's like with the other video, you just have to go back and study it with pauses. Okay, we'll move on to miscellaneous items. The second miscellaneous item, there's two, 36 iPhone keyboard tips, and are you excited about DeepSync AI? The first of these is just a video that's much too long to present here, but very interesting, about 36 iPhone keyboard tips. So you can get the URL from the BBS if you want to learn about 36 iPhone keyboard tips. Second item is, are you excited about DeepSync? There's a lot of conversation about DeepSync of late. Here are some observations and advice from Tim Wells from Proper Honest Tech. He says, from my limited experience with it, R1 functions much like other AI chatbot, but you ask questions and it attempts to provide relevant answers based on its knowledge. However, one major difference stood out: censorship. Anything that might be considered unpalatable to the Chinese government is noticeably absent. For example, if you ask about June 4th, 1989, the date of the infamous Tiananmen Square protest, the chatbot avoids the question entirely. It's a stark reminder to be cautious when relying on AI tools for information. It's also a good reason to think twice before signing up for free AI chatbots in general. I've always said that when a service is free, you are the product. Your data is what's being exploited. Mark Zuckerberg, for instance, is quick to highlight the benefits of Meta AI being free compared to the OpenAI. But Meta is a money printing machine, and the real cost is the personal information you hand over. Any comments or questions?
Is this the TikTok response? No. Deep, what was it?
Meta.
Just Meta was.
I have a question about it.
That is DeepSeek. SEEK.
DeepSeek. Thank you.
That's a Chinese company, and that's where this censorship comes in.
Yeah, so I thought it was, which I don't use, the TikTok anyway.
TikTok's still in operation.
But it's Chinese, right?
It's a Chinese company, yes. It's being negotiated on right now.
So what kind of personal information does Meta get from you if you use their apps?
Everything they can get their hands on.
Like,
anything
for
you
example,
give it, anything you give it,
Excuse
they're
me?
going to use it for their AI. You give it any personal information.
Is that like Facebook?
That's exactly what it is.
Meta is the
Meta is
there's the name, it's
Facebook.
Meta, and Facebook is owned
and
by
Insta.
Meta, yeah.
that is the company that owns Facebook, right?
It's a parent company.
Correct.
Parent company, right?
Google uses your information too.
Yeah.
Like the guy said, if the service is free, you're the product.
Right.
Nothing is free. I mean,
There you go.
we're all
Right.
Just remember that.
We're still the product.
The definition of free is someone else pays.
Right. Right.
I don't know. I get the feeling that, even if it's free, I pay.
Yep.
Oh, yeah.
That's right.
Otherwise, they go out of business. They could not survive if it was just given away for free.
Exactly.
You know, these places we have over here, they give stuff away for free. It's not free. Somebody paid for it. And apparently we do. So anyway, the thing about this deep seek thing is they're trying to indicate that it's different, it's theirs, but what started was that they used banned equipment to make and very, for that matter, inferior equipment, and to make something that's it's almost or is as fast as the stuff we have here that costs tens of thousands more than what they did, how they got about it. And apparently also doesn't produce as much heat and doesn't use as much electricity. I'm only quoting what I read in the paper.
Always, you can always rely on what you read in the paper.
Well, you know, I mean, it wouldn't be there if it wasn't different. So
It's better than what's online.
I guess, and just to add to it, it jumped to the top spot in both Google and Apple Store.
Have you noticed that when you Google something now, you get the first thing you get is AI's response?
Yes, yes.
I think you can turn that off in preferences, I think.
Except I don't do it while I'm signed into Google.
Yeah, me too.
Then they'll turn it back on with their next update.
Yep.
No doubt.
Well, you know, it's like Xfinity. You get these Wi-Fi routers, these that look like Apple Wi-Fi routers and stuff, and it's a modem and a router all together. And in there, Xfinity also sells cell phones, and they guarantee you they have access to everywhere. Part of that router that they sell you, that you pay something like $15 a month or something like that, is also dedicated with a separate network that everybody else can access with a password. If you have a password to Xfinity, you can access that. Usually it's a crappy access, but so you can turn it off, but at 12 o'clock midnight, they turn it right back on.
Well,
So
the router I got with Verizon Fios has a hidden network in it. You can't get rid of it.
no.
Are we done with the questions about the presentation? We'll go to general Q&A.
Yep.
Anytime.
I've got a
On
question.
Q&A and social hour.
So Ray has a question.
Okay, hold on. Let me
Want to
switch.
stop
Hold
the
on.
recording?
Hold on.
Stop
People
recording.
watching this on YouTube can get the next section of Q&A on the BBS. There'll be a link later today. Okay.